What up, y'all? It's Rausheeim Bey in the building, and you watching The Wave 804.
That's just the wave.
What up, word? It's your boy Jeff, aka Cool Boy Jeff, right here. It's the only place you can find the wave, The Wave 804. I got my OG in the building, Rausheim Bey. You know what I'm saying? He also got his own album called Oblivion too. He just dropped it not too long ago. But I ain't got really nothing else to say because I'm gonna let my big dog go ahead and speak for you. So you go ahead, big dog, introduce yourself.
How y'all doing, world? What's up, 804? It's your boy Rausheim Bey. You know, I'm out here, man. I'm an independent music artist. I just started not too long ago. I'd say about beginning of 2018 is when I dropped my first project. It's entitled Oblivion, as Jeff said. You know, it's an EP. It has 6 tracks on it. So I just gave the world a little taste of what I have in store. You know, I feel like I come with a different vibe, a whole different sound, and you know, as I said in one of my tracks for the introduction, I've been singing since I was 9, but I've never really took it to the professional level until after I left undergrad. So I always wanted to make music since I graduated high school, but I just wanted to put all my priorities in order to see myself through for a better future, honestly. So now that I have time on my hands, now that I finished college, I feel like this is the perfect time to, you know, go after my dreams, because, you know, medical school gonna always be around. College is always gonna be around, honestly, but you can't be 50, 60 years old trying to chase your dreams. So I'm taking a leap of faith and giving it all I got and praying for the best.
Alrighty, man. I definitely salute you, man, for being on the wave too.
I appreciate that.
Nah, man, no problem. I definitely support your music. So going into it, you know, you speaking on, you know, you was in school, you've been doing this, you've been singing for like all your life, though, big dog.
Pretty much.
So, you know what I'm saying, when I first met you, my freshman year, you know, you was always had that, you know, that cool energy, you know what I'm saying? But you also had that artistic skill. So I want to mainly get into, you know, when you was, when you're blessed with this gift to sing and also to bring this enlightenment to everybody else, when did you really feel like that you want to start taking music seriously?
I would say as the years went by and I started seeing more new upcoming artists come out, whether it was rappers or gospel or country or R&B, I would just be like, dang, out of every 10 people, there's only 3 that honestly, in my opinion, actually have talent. Now, I don't know, you know, everybody's different ages who may be watching, and I'm only 24, but I know I have an old soul, so I'm used to growing up to R&B soul vibes like Lauryn Hill and Jill Scott and Michael Jackson and James Brown and Sam Cooke. And the music nowadays that we hear, even on the R&B side, it just doesn't fit that genre as well. It's more up-tempo and auto-tuned, and you know, there are more ghostwriters nowadays than before. Like, a lot of things aren't as authentic as the past. And, you know, for me, I'm not saying that I give a more old school feel with my sound or with my music, but it's definitely different from what you hear on the radio right now. So
That's what's up, though.
once I started basically being able to point out who's really finessing for the check versus who's really grinding every day, day in and day out, from marketing all the way down to PR, all the way down to studio time and visuals, like, that's how you know who really take their gift serious and who's really trying to make a difference out here with their voice and their platform. While you have other artists out here who are just making hits that have catchy jingles or a hook or two, and you know, like I said, they don't really put too much effort or thought into it at all, and it's kind of just, it's frustrating when you see people like that so successful, and then you have people who really take their time to create an image or a story for you with their life experiences or with their thoughts, and it gets overlooked because they don't have that many followers, or they don't have, you know, all the chains or all the nice cars or the fancy clothes that everyone has right now in the videos. You know, it's always about the look, but it's definitely who you know, not always what you know. I learned that as well.
And that's true. It's true facts. So, and you know, when you were speaking on these great, these famous people, you know what I'm saying, from the Sam Cookes to the James Brown and so on and so forth, do you feel like that you get your creativeness from them and then you just put your own spin onto it to make your own music?
Yes, I honestly can say the few, well, not few, but the nice group of old school singers that I gravitate to for the most part, I think I get my style of wordplay from them, because there's a lot of my songs where I'm pretty much talking about the same thing, but I'm saying it in a different way. And I always find a way to get my point across without being too vulgar, so that way it can be available for all ears and all audiences of any age. But also at the same time, I get my point across without using curse words as well. And I feel like when you can say the same thing someone else is saying, but use different wording and get the same results, then that's when you know you're talented. So I take pride in doing that because I don't want anyone to ever put me in a box to think that I'm only meant for this type of crowd or this specific color or this specific, religion or whatever the case may be. I want to make music for all people.
I definitely respect that too. So in coming into that, what can you say of your setbacks that would have made you that kind of took you away, but you still remain the same? Because as you're speaking on it, there's different type of people out there or different type of elements that try to draw you away from what you were strictly trying to pursue. You know what I'm saying? So how was you able to continue with that, even though those setbacks was trying to hold you?
Well, for me, granted, I don't look at myself as an ordinary artist. Like I said, I am up and coming, so I'm very new, very local. But at the end of the day, I know that when you have talent and you have faith and you have great work ethic, you only can go unnoticed but so far. So I just use my setbacks as motivation to keep striving towards my goals, as well as keep telling myself, this is what you really want to do. So if you don't really want to have to deal with this or deal with that or go through this or go through that, the only way to really set yourself free from any of those issues is just do what you love to do. But when you do it, be serious about it.
Yeah.
It's like people get very complacent when they see things naturally thrown at them. It's just like a guy who the fly kid in school, all the girls want you, so you don't really gotta, act a specific way for that one particular girl, because there are 10 more just like her that are willing to do the same thing. But when you actually have to work for something, and you actually have to humble yourself and strive for better and realize that there's better than better for everything, then you'll never get in that point where you'll be complacent and you'll always be hungry and you'll always grind to get to the top and to be where you want to be. But it's all about success, honestly, and everybody's definition of success is different. Success for you could be owning a house. Success for the guy next door could be owning his own car. Success for me could be on having $1 million, and that's it. You just never know. Success is very broad. It's whatever you make it, and it's whatever you want to put into it for your life, and whatever legacy you want to leave behind for your family and your children and your children's children. It gets so deeper than the surface. It really does.
I like how the way you put that joint there too. So now I want to get into the music about making Oblivion. So what was the thought process, and what did you want to get the title to use, Oblivion? You know what I'm saying? So if you want to go ahead and elaborate on that.
All right, so pretty much, first thing I'm gonna say is I first recorded my first record in the studio summer 2016.
Okay.
And it was called Impatient. I never dropped it. Even to this day, it still hasn't been leaked. I might put it out eventually one day though. But after that, my whole mindset was, okay, let me go ahead, finish this 5th year of undergrad so I can get these 2 degrees, and then we gonna officially focus on this music. So when I came up with Oblivion, it's crazy because my first project was originally supposed to be entitled Numinous.
Okay.
I have about 6 or 7 projects that are already predetermined, and they're already set up with how many tracks they're gonna have, and if there's gonna be intros or interludes and so on and so forth. So I'm already set pretty much for the entire 2018.
Okay.
However, when Oblivion came into mind, that wasn't initially going to be my first project, but when I thought of the definition of Oblivion, I was like, well, this is perfect timing for me, because if you know anything, Oblivion pretty much means unseen or in the background. It's like you're the outcast. You're not in the picture. You're not the focal point of the situation. It's almost as if there's life happening and then there's you outside of life that's happening. And when I think of me as an artist, as an individual, being very new to the game, very new to the industry, that's how I picture myself. You got the Drakes and the Waynes and the Chris Browns and the Trey Songz and the Tay-K's and the Yachty's and the Migos and all of those people right now. That's the life right now. that's what we see, that's what we hear, that's the mainstream. Then you have me on the outside, who's unknown, who's unheard of, who's unseen, unspoken of. Nobody even knows I exist, honestly. It's almost as if I don't exist. And that's exactly what Oblivion is. I try to go outside the box with a lot of my entitles for my projects, because anybody could, name something after themselves or make it a catchy catchphrase. But I want people to read the titles of my mixtapes or my EPs or my albums and say, I don't even know what that means. But you know what? I'm going to go look it up. And then when you look it up, you get the definition of what it means, and you're like, how can this relate to anything he's about to say? And then when you play my album or you play my project, it'll all flow through and make sense.
So definitely you got a whole message and meaning behind the music that you put out.
There's a message behind everything that I do. There's nothing that I do in life that doesn't have a purpose. Every movement I make, there's a purpose solely behind it. And there's a specific purpose, not a freelance purpose.
Okay. So into making this album, what do you think that was the main challenges for you while you was making these albums? Because you have some good classic music on here, and if for you to have a purpose, it has to be something that you would challenge upon to make sure that everything else was happening. So if you go ahead and clarify about what the stuff that you was doing behind it.
So the main issues that I have when it comes to recording my music, especially my particular first project, is, everybody's different, but a lot of things are still the same no matter who you are or what makes you you. So when it comes to recording and when it comes to, really putting music out there for the world to hear and for people to view you and make a perception of who you are as a musician, you want to be very particular about the content you release, when you release it, and the message that you send when you release it.
Gotcha.
But for me, my main issues were within the booth itself, and not because it took me forever to get a good take, but because I always wanted to keep my own natural voice. So basically, I would never want a fan to come to one of my concerts, pay hundreds of dollars for front row seats, hear me sing live, and then have the nerve to leave and say how they sound in person is not how they sound on their track. I want to be able to give you the same effect that I give on the radio that I do when I'm 5 feet in front of you.
Being authentic.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
That's my main thing with everything when I'm dealing with music. And it's like, you hear yourself, and it's like, you got something when your producer plays back your first take, unmixed, unmastered, raw footage, and it sounds like it's already mixed and mastered. So now he's having a trouble with figuring out how to mix it or what he wants to do to mix it, because honestly, you only mix and master tracks to make them pretty much as perfect as possible. Gotcha. You want your voice to sound like a hummingbird, so to speak. So people throw auto-tune and pitch changes and extra vocals and trebles and octaves, high, low, and vibratos and ensembles. They add all these different musical terminologies within your sound of your voice, just so that way it can be appealing to all ears. And for me, at the end of the day, it sells records. But honestly, as much as I want to sell records, I would feel like I've done more of my purpose if I at least touch someone with my authenticity. Okay. Because like I said, there's not that many artists in any genre nowadays that can truly be themselves without having to change who they are for the label or the AR or just for the sake of, the means of themselves. Like, I don't have any problem with doing something for the fans, but at the end of the day, you never want to leave what you know. You always want to stick to what you know. Okay. Whatever got you, wherever you are, you never want to go away from that, because that's what is always going to keep the hearts of the world, honestly. Okay. So, and with that, you want to have a whole structure, and then of course you believe everything that you put in your music will resonate to life. And with your authenticity, you want to always stay true to who you are. So, what was the fun side of making all these tracks? And if you can, what particular song really shows who you are? Well, for me, I think the fun side of the tracks would be just the fact that I could literally come to the studio, set up a 2-hour session, And within the first hour, I done made 4 new songs. Like literally, it really doesn't take me that long to make a drop. I don't have to go and do too many takes. It's kind of like 1 or 2 maybe. I know where I want to put my ad-libs. I know where my hooks and my runs are. I come prepared so that way I won't waste anybody else's time nor my own money. Because when you go to studio sessions, you're paying for their time. So if you come there unprepared, or you're trying to freestyle or work all the kinks out while you're actually there, you're gonna leave with not so good results.
Yeah.
And anytime I leave the studio, I want to make sure I have at least 2 songs completed. So that way, if I felt like leaking them on my SoundCloud or YouTube, I can do so right then and there. And if I can't do that when I leave, then that wasn't a successful section.
Okay. So, and then for my last final question is, you know, for me knowing you and for me hearing your music, it's definitely the same thing, but I feel like I get a more understanding of who you are. If there's one word that resonates who Rausheeim is, what word would that be?
That's a good question. I would say Rausheeim is exactly Rausheeim. And I say that because my name is a Muslim name, even though I'm not Muslim, but it actually means something. It means the leader of the land. And I'm a leader. I'm a leader in plenty of ways, a plural of ways. From, you know, in the classroom when I was a student in my high school and undergrad days, all the way down to mentor for community service or internships or after school, high school programs for, you know, younger kids and the youth. I've always been a positive influence for the people around me, whether they've been my age, younger or older. And I've always been told that I gave off the impression of being more wise than the years. So I take pride in, you know, the perception that, you know, the older people look at of me. And I take pride in, you know, my character and who I am and how I try to leave my impression on people. Because, you know, nobody's perfect. And like I said, I'm a young man growing and learning each day, trying to develop to become a better me. So I'm far from where I'm far from where I need to be. But like I said, I strive to be better. And, you know, I can lay my head down easy at night knowing that I'm not out here doing nobody wrong, lying, stealing, cheating. I'm not, you know, I'm not one of those type of guys. Got my head on my shoulders, and for the most part, you know, I know what's up out here. That's for another interview though. But just trust me, I'm more than woke to society and, you know, the things that are disguising us from what really matters. You know, it's a lot of things we can tap into, especially with this music. And I kind of want to get more into that with my music as I grow bigger. But for now, you know, I'm going to keep quiet on that because I need somebody to recognize me first before I get y'all all them jewels. But it's going to come though, just know.
Yeah, he's a trip because he already know he's more recognizable. Especially like the people, if they really are interested into his music, they'll really try to get more into knowing him in person. So definitely, man, I got to check out my man, Rausheeim Bey. Got an album called Oblivion. I'm gonna let him go and let everybody know where they can find him at. So go ahead and tell them. Big.
Alright, man. So y'all can follow me on Instagram at Pete Bey. It's PE_EP.BEY. Twitter, Sheesh Quavo, SHEESH_KWAVO. My Snapchat is Rausheeim Bey, no underscores. Rausheeim, RAUSHEEIMBEY. That's Rausheeim Bey. And y'all can catch any of my music on YouTube, SoundCloud, Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, Tidal, Google Play, iHeartRadio. You name it, it's up there. My first project, like I said, released January 26th. That was about 3 months ago. My second release will be at the end of the week. I say it'll be available on all major digital distribution sites by May 2nd. It's entitled Atelophobia. So y'all go check that out. That's going to be my first official mixtape. It's going to have about 10 tracks up there. So a little bit more of a wider variety from my original EP for y'all. And who already heard Oblivion that thought it was too many chick songs or slow jams, I done sped it up a little bit for y'all. So, you know, just be on the lookout. It's definitely going to be a treat to bring y'all into the springtime.
Yes, sir. I feel like whoever was probably feeling like that, they was probably upset because their girl was listening to the song.
Yeah,
so
you know,
that's all right.
was
That's
like,
cool. You know how people be hating. You know how people be hating. But definitely, I want to shout out to my big homie, you know what I'm saying? He's been a cool dude for years, ever since I came to Union. You know what I'm saying? He always been humble, staying to what he want to do. He got 2 degrees. Now he trying to work to perfect his craft, to do what he love to do best, and then that's sing and bringing joy to the world. But it's another dope interview. My bro, Rausheeim Bey. Make sure you go check out Oblivion. It's your boy, Kavod Jeff, and we out, man.
Holla. Since I was 9 years old, I had a dream to sing, but instead I went to college and got 2 degrees. Oh yeah, yeah. Can you hear me now? Rausheeim Bey.